So now we're creating a follower. So you see where I go, he's more, this is called relevance. I'm socially relevant to him, meaning if I'm in the room or if I'm in the environment, I'll influence his behavior. Okay, because now I'm a character that can give rewards and have a bonding experience with him and have positive experiences, but then I can also speak up and say no, and if he pushbacks against me, he will get an aversive. And that's how our relationship dynamics being formed, which means I will be more capable of bringing him out and showing him what to do and what not to do, to change his responses to the world, right? Currently, we know what his responses are. They're things that none of us want, and it's usually just reacting, barking, and making noise and making a fuss at the outside world. What we're going to teach him, if I step into that leader position, I'm going to put him behind me, which means he doesn't decide. If something enters this room, he looks at me and I tell him how to decide. He doesn't decide, and I can say, go over there and lie down. This is a relationship dynamic that I need in order to be successful to get through the human world with a dog, okay? So now you see, look, he had no interest in following me, but look where his eyes are, they're on me. They weren't on me when he first got in this room. Good. And I'm rewarding that early on. I'm relevant now, okay? We need that. I'm not only relevant because I give rewards, but I do give rewards, and I will be feeding him and doing all that, but I'm also relevant because I'll give him aversive, okay? That makes, I remember this feeling when I was with my dad, when I was growing up with my dad. He had things that he didn't enjoy me doing, like rules, certain things. And if I didn't, I was always, when I was around him, I was always trying to kind of please him because I didn't want to break one of these rules and then have him come down on me because he was very consistent with that. So if I broke one of these rules in front of him, even as small as my dad was very strict at times, even as small as being at the dinner table and having my posture wrong, having my elbows up or something, that would get corrected. So those small things I have to be aware of, so therefore I'm always in this state of kind of like being aware of my leader, which was my father, and adjusting my behavior according to what he likes and what he doesn't like, because that's informing me how to behave to get through the world. He was teaching me what polite behavior is. Okay? It's very similar with the dogs. We're going to do recall here. This is going to be his first time going out the door. This is a huge deal. Okay? When I open up this door, the dogs just assume that they don't have to listen because they're going out there without me. It is fenced in, but it's big enough for him to feel like, is there a way to get away from him? So I'm going to let him out and I'm going to recall him. He has every chance, every opportunity in the world to stop, turn around, come to me, tail wagging, everything's good, and maybe he'll do that. Maybe he'll say, I'm going to try to escape, okay, instead. So this is going to give him the association to this recall that it's non-negotiable, meaning that there is no way out. And we look to put him in situations like this where the dog looks for a way out of the recall, and again, is proven wrong that there is no way out, but is rewarded very heavily when they complete the recall. So they understand, hey, that's actually not that bad. If I come to my owners, they're very pleased with me, and I like the feeling of my dogs, but my owner being pleased with me, because now there's contrast of when they're not pleased with me. We're going to do the recall. Let's see what this young guy does. Okay? Let him go out. And I'm just going to do a short one right here. And the pressure's turning on right there. The pressure turned on. It's a low number. He's got to turn it off by coming to me. Good boy. And the pressure turned off. He completed it, gave a little tail wag. He says, okay, I understand this now. So there wasn't really any punishment there, but there was low numbers, which will signify punishment because he's already been punished on the collar, right? He's had a punishment before we started our recall. So therefore, I don't have to create buy-in during teaching this recall. I don't have to say, well, why should I listen to that low number? But he already knows because when he tried to bite me, he got a heavier correction. So he knows that this can go heavier. So therefore, I have the respect on here. So when I start my training, my commands, it's a lot easier. Good dog. Everything he's learned, he's doing. This is a state of mind. He's choosing to be a follower right now, and he's getting rewarded heavily. Good boy. And he's getting rewarded. I'm showing my approval, but most importantly, he's not getting corrected. He's not getting an aversive, and that's what is, whether we like it or not, that's motivating. That's why we don't speed on the highway. It's not because there's a treat waiting for us when we get to our destination. It's because we're avoiding the consequence. So it's a natural motivator to teach a dog to avoid an aversive in order to, or to do a behavior, or to not do a behavior in order to avoid an aversive. Very natural. That's how the natural world works a lot. Okay? Good. So he feels very calm. It's a really good feeling, but still confident. However, he's early on. This is early stuff, so he's got a lot of learning to do. A couple weeks down the road, we're gonna see a dog very confident, I think. I think we're gonna have a very confident young man here who's very well behaved, but still confident, okay? That false confidence that he had, I'm gonna try to make that real confidence and really get him confident in the world, but also respectful, not doing all this nonsense, and following, not trying to lead, okay? That's his new position. And we talked about it a little bit before, which is the relationship dynamic between me and the dog. If he is a follower, we're good. That means he decides to take a step back, allow me to lead, right? He allows me to be in front. If he wants to lead, then he's gonna try to step in front, and we're gonna have problems because he's gonna try to make decisions, right? It's all about me taking the leadership position, what's cool about this is the dog understands this. He knows what I'm trying to do. And that's why he's like, I don't think so. Because if I submit to you, that means you can somewhat control me or influence me, right? They don't want to give that up. But when they do, if you go through the ritual of creating a follower, you get the best version of the dog. You get the companion. You get the dog who's actually looking to please you, the dog that you want, right? Not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not expecting the dog to be perfect, but this polite behavior and him just saying, I'm being quiet because I know he doesn't like it when I bark. I'm sitting because I know he likes it when I sit. And I recalled because that's what he's taught me to do to the sound. He did this all after hanging out with me for about an hour, letting it simmer and then picking it back up. He offered it, and you can see the startle right there. But he was offering that, and to me, that's a state that I want to reward. I want to teach him, if you go into that state, where you're hanging back and you let me make the decisions, that's where I want you. That's where things go smoothly, okay? Good boy. Look, another sit there. This isn't the dog that came in, right? He's already changing, but this is a lengthy program. It's going to be 4 weeks for him. This is the beginning, okay? Taking a step back in the hierarchy. I know it seems abstract, like, what are you talking about hierarchy? The thing is that the problem is that the dogs get it though. They understand that if I can sniff this dog and hump this dog, and that dog lets me, then that dog and I both know that when future resources come into the environment, I get first access. Because I could dominate you and hump you, and you let me, you pretty much agreed to that. If you want to fight me, so you can see that they're constantly getting to know each other and seeing, who's going to be the one who has first access to this piece of steak right here, and we're all hungry. They're not all going to get the same amount. They're not going to sit down and cut it up and say, okay, equal portions for everybody. That's not how it works. Now, in order for them not to kill each other every time a piece of food comes, they can have these hierarchical conversations before the food comes in ways of play, of dominance. You see dogs humping each other, so that when the meat comes, they can look at their fellow pack members and they know, they're like, okay, this guy, I'm gonna let him have it first so that we don't have an altercation, and then I'll get whatever's left. That's just how it goes. I'm not coming up with that. I'm just observing that. That's just what dogs would do. If I put 5 hungry dogs in this room and put a piece of meat on the ground, they're not all eating the same hierarchy. It sounds abstract, but if you give a handful of experiences, I call them hierarchical experiences, where we disagree over things that dogs would disagree over: space, other members of the pack, food, resources like other people, dogs, toys, couch, whatever. So the dog understands, so that when something new hits the environment, whether it's a dog, a squirrel, a toy, a piece of food, a person, they don't just react to it. And that's the point. And so going home, that's the mindset that you need, is that you have a follower. And if you feel the dog being pushy or being bratty, it's them seeing that line of follower and leader, and they're just trying to pull past it. They're trying, and that gets punished. Otherwise, you've got a dog who's going to be a pain in the ass. So if you can understand that abstract concept and feel when your dog is being disrespectful and breaking these these abstract relationship boundaries, you correct them for it. Dogs do it to each other. Dogs do it to each other, and a lot of people, they see dogs fight out of nowhere, and they think it's out of nowhere, but it's generally not out of nowhere. There was a conversation going on. And we miss that conversation, right? So look at this. I couldn't tell you how impressive this is, that this dog is just calmly looking me in the eyes, because what's changed? It's not the training. It's not like I taught him a bunch of commands. It's his relationship to me. That's it. He knows he's not the decision maker, so he's hanging back with a relaxed way about him. And when something comes into the environment, I'm going to show him that I'm going to deal with it, which means he'll keep this relaxed state, even with the world going on around him, allowing me to choose how to deal with things. That's why the relationship is so important. If we don't have that dynamic, things are going to fall apart often. Break.
Woo, Lily! Good boy!
Yay!
High five!
Just
Good
still learning
boy,
that.
Lily!
Good boy.
Hi,
Yay.
Lily.
Yes. Good.
He's in that phase of, is
Do
this
I stay or
okay?
do I go? Yes.
Is this okay?
He is. It's like walking on eggshells because they don't know. He doesn't know everything that I dislike.
Yeah.
I didn't get to write it on a list and say, here's the rules, and put it up at camp, put it up right on the wall for everybody to read the rules. No. He can't read anyway. He has to bump into these rules, and I use them as learning lessons. So that's very much like the natural world. You're chasing the porcupine. You're not going to learn that the porcupine porks you or pricks you until you get pricked. That's when the dog learned. Oh, that happens when I chase this funny looking thing. Nobody sat down and said, okay, we're going to go out there, no chasing squirrels, no doing this. So knowing that that's true and that's how the natural world operates, we try to operate very similar, okay? Good. And see, all that space of me talking to you led for him to finally make a choice on his own. And he said, I'm going to sit here and wait for this guy to tell me what's next. That's what's happening right here. That's why this is beautiful. That's not who this guy was. It's not the relationship dynamic he's ever had with a human before. This is new to him. But what's amazing about dogs is a lot of them, just about all of them, know how to do this naturally. You just have to know how to create a follower. You have to know how to submit after a conflict, a big one. A dog tried to bite me. That's grounds of submission. And if I don't submit, then I'm not going to get the respect that I need and the trust that I need, because trust is involved with it. When a dog's laying there finally and they're allowing you to submit them, they're trusting that you're not going to harm them. And they're right, I'm not going to harm you because I'm not interested in fighting. You're the one who did this. And they understand that. That's why the dog's not scared of me. He knows, well, I started it. I tried to fuck him up. I went, bah, bah, bah. So it's not like I just went into the room and said, come here, I need to submit you. I heard you're a bad dog. It's set up in a way where he says, arr, and then I say, okay, now here comes the submission because you did the ultimate, I don't want to listen to humans, right? All of it is I don't want to listen to humans, from the growl and everything, but then I push past the growl. That's the only difference between me and the owner when it comes to him snapping, is they see the growl and they stop pushing. And then he says the growl will keep them at bay. So the growl will stop them from asking me to do something. It'll stop them from this and that. And he's using it as a tool. So to create a boundary, right? Where he growled at me and I went past. And he didn't know what to do. I could see it in his eyes. And then it's a panic snap, right? In that snap, then I have grounds to correct and submit, which is the best thing this dog, it's what the doctor ordered for this dog to feel better. He literally feels better. He's like, oh, the weight is off my shoulders. I'm not the one responding to everything. I'm going to give it to this guy. As the days go on, he'll have hiccups. But this is the core. This is what's going on underneath all the training. Okay? That's important for everybody to know. All right, moving on. Leo. Good boy. That was some beautiful eye contact. Really good dog. The state of mind is just excellent right now. I know you can't feel it as much as you would if you were closer to him and looking in his eyes and seeing kind of just like the dreamy, relaxed quality that a follower has on the in-between time when we're waiting for the next thing. And so I'm seeing a guy who didn't want to follow, put up a bit of a fight, but in the end I see that, oh, he knows how to do it. So we'll see how it goes in the next few days. Break.
Yeah, Lily. Good boy.
That's it. Wow, that's it for today because we want him to rest. We don't want to put too many lessons on him. Tomorrow we just repeat the same stuff until it starts looking like it's pretty concrete, it's pretty obvious to him. Then we'll add a little something new, okay? All right, bud.